world has finally grown quiet, and the long shadows are stretching across your room. Tonight, as the heavy day releases its final grip, I want you to take a deep, slow breath. Let the air fill your tired lungs, and then slowly let it all go. You are here in the stillness. You are alive, and you are safe. It is completely natural to feel overwhelmed after everything you have been through today. Your heart might be sinking low under the heavy weight of worry right now. Your mind might be looping continuously through endless what-ifs and things you cannot control. But I want to remind you of something very important before you close your eyes. You are not alone in this deep darkness. You are never forgotten, and you are never truly unguarded. Think about the beautiful truth of the universe. The very same powerful hand that flung the giant stars into orbit is the hand that holds your fragile heart steady tonight. The creator of the galaxies, the one who draws boundaries for the massive oceans, is bending down low just to guard your quiet steps. This great presence is not distant, and it is not distracted by the noise of the universe. It is watchful, it is near, and it is deeply personal to you. When everything beneath you feels completely unsteady, when your plans fall apart, and when your emotions rise and crash like wild waves, there is a solid ground beneath your feet. You do not have to be perfect to be protected. You do not have to have everything figured out to deserve peace right now. Look higher than your immediate problems tonight. Look higher than your unfinished strategies and your deepest fears. Your strength at this very moment does not come from your schedule or your ability to fix the world. Your strength comes from the quiet assurance that everything is being held together, even when you feel like you are falling apart. Bring your unfinished conversations, your tangled emotions, and the repetitive prayers you are too tired to speak out loud. Lay them all down right here. The silence of the night is not the absence of love. It is simply the sacred space where your miracles mature. Let the creative power that formed the world speak perfect order over your anxious heart. Rest your weary soul, breathe deeply, and repeat after me. I trust the journey, and I trust that I am being kept safe. If this gentle message brought a sense of peace to your heavy heart tonight, please leave a comment below to let me know how you are feeling. Share the single word or thought that helped steady your soul the most. Let us create a safe space of healing and motivation together in the comments. When the night is at its deepest point, the problems of tomorrow always seem to grow much larger than they actually are. It is so easy to sit up in the dark and look around at the walls of your room, wondering how you will face the rising sun. But peace is never found by looking around at your circumstances. It is found by intentionally turning your gaze to a higher ground. You must look beyond the mountains of uncertainty that are standing directly in front of you. Look higher than the mistakes of your past, higher than the immediate limitations of your present, and higher than the cloudy fears of your future. Your help does not come from the unstable ground of human effort. Your help comes from the everlasting source of life, the one who created the towering mountains and yet cares intimately for the smallest detail of your existence. Think of the beautiful relief that comes when you stop trying to carry the weight of the entire world on your fragile shoulders. You were never meant to walk through this life as an island of ultimate self-sufficiency. When your heart begins to falter, you are being gently invited to lift your eyes. Look up toward the horizon where hope lives. Look up toward the unchanging sky that remains steady no matter how many storms pass underneath it. The same grand architect who designed the constellations and paths of the planets knows exactly how many hairs are on your head tonight. If that grand power can sustain the entire cosmos without dropping a single star, it can certainly sustain you through this temporary season of confusion. Your current situation is not too complicated for grace to untangle. Your broken pieces are not too scattered for love to gather back together. Tonight, you can choose to make a conscious shift from a state of heavy panic to a state of complete surrender. Surrender does not mean that you are giving up or showing weakness. Surrendering means that you are finally smart enough to trust a strength that is vastly superior to your own. You are releasing your tight grip on the outcomes that you could never predict anyway. You are handing over the bills you cannot pay, the relationships you cannot repair by your own force, and the tomorrows that remain a mystery. When you lay these heavy burdens down, you discover that the hands waiting to receive them are much stronger than yours. They are the same tender hands that have carried humanity through the dark ages of history, and they are holding you close at this very moment. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the next step. You just need to know that the foundation beneath you will not give way. Every delay you are experiencing right now is actually a form of deep preparation. Every period of silence from the universe is not an indicator of abandonment, but rather a protective shield around your developing destiny. When you feel like nothing is happening, that is often the exact moment when the most profound miracles are maturing in the secret places. Do not despise the quiet seasons of your life. Do not let the lack of immediate answers tempt you to slide into deep despair. You are being reshaped in the dark just as beautifully as you were celebrated in the light. Every heavy sigh that escapes your lips tonight is being collected as raw material for something redemptive and brand new. Your story is far from over, and the current chapter of exhaustion is just a setup for a glorious awakening. As you prepare to rest your mind, remember that you are walking in a covenant of constant care, not a contract based on your daily performance. Your worthiness of peace is not determined by how much you accomplished today or how many items you crossed off your busy schedule. Your right to rest is inherent because you are a beloved creation. Let the tension drain from your neck, your shoulders, and your chest as you accept this truth. You are fully allowed to leave the questions unanswered until the morning. You are permitted to be tired, to be uncertain, and to be human. The watchman of your life is fully awake, standing guard over your soul so that you can finally close your eyes without any fear. Breathe in the soothing comfort of this higher perspective and let your spirit settle into an unbreakable calm. The darkness of the night possesses a unique way of making the human spirit feel incredibly small and exposed. When the lamps are turned off and the ambient noise of the daytime world completely fades away, our vulnerabilities often come out of hiding. We begin to feel the biting chill of loneliness or the phantom heat of old regrets that we thought we had already buried deep in the past. It is during these vulnerable hours that you must remind yourself of the watchful guardian who stands beside you. You are never truly unprotected, even when you feel like the most fragile being in existence. There is a magnificent shield of grace hovering over your room right now, creating an invisible fortress that no weapon of despair can ever breach. You can lay your head down on your pillow with total confidence because the one who protects you does not operate on a human schedule. Think about the profound comfort of knowing that your guardian never dozes off, never grows weary of your repetitious fears, and never turns away from your brokenness. Human protectors will eventually get tired and need their own rest. But the watcher of your soul is infinite in strength and boundless in vigilance. While you are drifting away into the world of dreams, this quiet guardian is standing at the threshold of your heart, keeping away the toxic thoughts and the deceptive whispers of the enemy. You are being watched over with the pure tenderness of a loving parent and the absolute majesty of a mighty king. This means that you do not have to spend your precious sleeping hours acting as your own security guard. You can finally let go of the heavy hypervigilance that has kept your muscles tight and your chest restricted for so many weeks. Let us think about the path you have walked to arrive at this very moment tonight. You have traveled through some incredibly dark valleys, and you have faced storms that threatened to wash away your entire foundation. There were days when you genuinely did not think you would possess the strength to see the next morning. Yet here you are. You survived every single one of those hidden battles, not because you were perfectly strong, but because an unseen hand was constantly holding you up. Every time your foot slipped on a loose stone of confusion, mercy stretched out much faster than gravity to catch you. Every time your courage began to fade into total darkness, a quiet whisper of hope rekindled the dying embers of your spirit. You are a living testament to resilience, a beautiful masterpiece of survival that has been carefully shaped through both the blinding light and the deep shadows. Now it is time to give your busy mind a well-deserved vacation from the exhausting cycle of problem solving. You have spent the entire day analyzing scenarios, calculating risks, and trying to fix things that were never yours to fix in the first place. Tonight, you must understand that your life is not a random sequence of chaotic accidents. Your life is an intentional journey that is safely held within the master map of a grand design. Therefore, you can stop rehearsing every single potential outcome for tomorrow. You do not need to create 1,000 different backup plans for things that might never even happen. The same faithful keeper who carried you through the historical valleys of your past will automatically lift you up when the new dawn breaks. Trusting this process means allowing the future to remain a mystery while you occupy the sacred space of the present moment. Let the beautiful realization of this constant protection wash over you like a warm blanket on a freezing night. No matter how loud the anxiety knocks on the door of your mind, it simply cannot enter, because the property belongs to a higher authority. Your thoughts, your dreams, your family, and your home have all been marked with an invisible line of absolute grace that no evil is permitted to cross. When the night tries to tell you that you are helpless, look at the history of your own survival and realize how beautifully you have been kept. You are safe, not because the world has suddenly become an easy place to live, but because the nearness of your protector changes the entire atmosphere of your room. The dark is not dark to the one who watches over you, for the night shines just as brightly as the day in the eyes of infinite love. As you prepare to close your eyes, let this deep sense of security loosen the stubborn tension in your jaw, your neck, and your mind. You are fully permitted to surrender your control over the universe tonight. Let the rhythm of your breathing become a gentle song of praise to the one who holds your name in mind while the entire world sleeps. You are deeply cherished, completely guarded, and profoundly loved. Breathe in the thick stillness of this holy sanctuary. Exhale the final remnants of your daily stress and sink into the beautiful rest that has been prepared especially for you. The quiet hours of the deep night are not meant to be a torture chamber for your anxious thoughts. They are designed to be a sacred sanctuary for your inner restoration. When you finally stop rushing from one task to another, your soul can finally catch up with your body. It is in this beautiful stillness that the gentle mending of your wounds takes place. You might be carrying hidden scars from words that cut deep into your spirit today. You might be feeling the invisible bruises of rejection or the heavy exhaustion of trying to please everyone around you. But right now, none of those external voices matter. The only voice that matters is the one whispering that you are completely safe and deeply valued just as you are. Let that comforting truth soak into the deepest layers of your being, breaking down the walls of stress you built up during the busy day. Think about how much energy you spend every single day pretending that you have everything under perfect control. You put on a brave face for your family, your coworkers, and your friends, even when you feel like you are breaking into a million tiny pieces on the inside. Tonight, you do not have to pretend anymore. You are allowed to be fragile in this quiet space. Your guardian knows exactly what you are made of, and Niggy remembers that you are dust. There is no judgment waiting for you here, only an ocean of endless gentleness that is ready to wash away your fatigue. Every single tear you cried in secret today was seen. Every unspoken ache in your chest is fully understood. You do not need to explain your pain or find the perfect words to describe your heavy sorrow. Just rest in the quiet awareness that you are being held by a love that will never let you go. True strength is not about never falling down or never feeling afraid. True strength is found in the quiet moments when you choose to breathe through the fear and keep trusting the path ahead. Your life is an ongoing masterpiece, and even the broken, messy chapters are being woven into a beautiful design of ultimate victory. The current pain you are experiencing is not a permanent destination. It is simply a temporary transit point. You are being strengthened in the dark, stretching your capacity for joy, empathy, and resilience. When you wake up tomorrow, you will discover that your spirit has been quietly repaired while you slept. The morning will bring brand new mercies, fresh perspectives, and the clean energy you need to take the next step on your journey. Let the beautiful rhythm of the quiet night steady the frantic beating of your heart. Look at how the world outside effortlessly rests without your constant supervision. The stars continue to shine, the trees continue to grow, and the earth continues to spin smoothly on its axis, all without any effort from your side. If the universe can function so perfectly while you sleep, surely you can trust that your personal life is also being managed by a higher wisdom. Release your heavy expectations and your constant need to see what is coming around the corner. You are completely permitted to step off the treadmill of productivity for the next few hours. Your only assignment right now is to let go, relax your body, and allow yourself to be deeply loved and completely restored. As you drift closer to a peaceful sleep, imagine all your worries turning into light, harmless vapor that floats away into the night sky. Your mind is becoming completely clear. Your heart is becoming incredibly light, and your soul is entering a state of absolute rest. You are wrapped in a thick blanket of divine peace that the chaos of the world cannot penetrate. The darkness is no longer a source of fear, but rather a gentle womb of spiritual rebirth where your hopes are being renewed. Sleep now with total confidence, knowing that the morning will bring answers wrapped in pure grace. You are protected, you are cherished, and you are never alone. If these healing words brought comfort to your soul and helped ease your mind tonight, please leave a comment below to share your thoughts. Let us know what specific fear or worry you are choosing to release into the quiet night. Your comment could be the exact spark of motivation someone else needs to read before they can finally rest. The human heart naturally craves immediacy and absolute certainty in all things. We want the answers to our heavy questions right now, and we want the confusing paths of our lives to become straight lines instantly. When we are forced to sit in the waiting room of life, anxiety tries to convince us that our delay is a form of permanent punishment. But you must understand that the universe does not operate on the frantic timeline of human panic. There is a beautiful, strategic architecture to the timing of your life. Every single season of waiting is actually a sacred period of hidden development. You are not being denied your breakthrough. You are simply being prepared to sustain the heavy weight of the blessing that is coming your way. Trust the slow process of your growth, because things that mature beautifully always take time to develop in the dark. Think about what happens when a seed is planted deep inside the cold earth. To the casual observer looking at the surface of the ground, absolutely nothing seems to be happening. It looks like a place of total silence, stagnation, and complete death. But underneath the heavy dirt, away from the watchful eyes of the world, a massive transformation is taking place. The seed is breaking open, stretching its tiny roots deep into the soil to find a permanent source of nourishment. It is building a foundation that will be strong enough to support the tree when the wild storms come. Your life is in that exact phase of root development right now. Do not misinterpret the quietness of this season as a sign of absence. The silence is simply the necessary womb where your grandest miracles are maturing. Let go of the exhausting need to force open doors that are currently closed to you. When you try to force your own way through sheer human manipulation and constant striving, you often end up walking into rooms that you are not yet ready to handle. If a door remains closed despite your best efforts, look at it as a form of divine protection rather than a personal rejection. Perhaps your character is still being fortified, or perhaps the territory ahead is still being cleared of hidden dangers that you cannot see from your current perspective. Your guardian is a strategic planner who sees the entire timeline of your existence from the grand beginning to the ultimate end. Ingi knows exactly when to accelerate your journey, and Ingi knows exactly when to introduce a protective pause. Rest in the supreme comfort of that knowledge tonight. You must stop measuring your current progress by comparing your life to the schedules of the people around you. Every individual possesses a unique orbit, a distinct purpose, and a personalized rhythm that cannot be replicated by anyone else. The fact that someone else is running in a season of high visibility does not mean that you are failing because you are sitting in a season of quiet hiddenness. Your value is completely independent of your external velocity. Tonight, celebrate the fact that you are exactly where you need to be to learn the deep lessons of humility, resilience, and absolute trust. The strength you are developing during these quiet hours of endurance will become the absolute bedrock of your future success. You are being built to last, not just to make a temporary splash in the world. Let the tight muscles in your body relax completely as you surrender your personal calendar to a higher wisdom. You do not have to figure out the complex logistics of the next 5 years before you can fall asleep tonight. You only need to have enough faith to manage the next few hours of rest. The same magnificent power that manages the complex seasons of nature is fully responsible for the seasons of your life. When the winter feels long and freezing, have the quiet confidence to know that the spring is already packing its bags to meet you. The light will always conquer the darkness, and your morning of joy will eventually break through the heavy night of weeping. As you drift closer to a deep sleep, let this profound sense of security wrap around your entire consciousness. You can finally stop rehearsing the worst-case scenarios in your mind because your future is completely safe. The watchman of your life has already walked into your tomorrow and declared that it is good. You are moving into a territory that is already drenched in absolute grace and heavy favor. Trust the heart of the one who guides you, even when you cannot trace the ultimate direction of the path. Close your eyes now. Breathe in the sweet aroma of total peace and allow your soul to rest in the beautiful architecture of perfect timing. The daytime world forces us to navigate through a dense fog of visible challenges and obvious demands. We can easily see the traffic we must fight, the difficult people we must interact with, and the concrete problems we must solve with our own hands. But when the night arrives and we retreat into our quiet spaces, our spirits often become aware of a completely different realm of difficulty. We begin to realize that the most exhausting battles we face are actually the invisible ones. We fight against the silent arrows of doubt that fly through the dark hours of our vulnerability. We wrestle with the quiet, toxic whispers of comparison that try to steal our joy and poison our confidence. Tonight, you need to know that you do not possess the capacity to fight these unseen battles on your own. You need a shield that you cannot possibly manufacture with human strength, and that is exactly what is being provided for you right now. Think about the incredible comfort of having a guardian who constantly intercepts dangers before they can even touch your life. There are so many times when you were protected from traps that you never even knew existed. You might have experienced a random delay in your schedule today, an annoying detour on your way home, or a sudden change of plans that made you feel deeply frustrated. From your limited human perspective, it felt like a total failure or a massive inconvenience. But from a higher perspective, that exact delay was a highly strategic intervention. Your keeper saw a snare that was waiting for your feet further down the road and chose to hold you back in safety rather than letting you stumble into destruction. Every closed door, every sudden disruption, and every unanswered message can be a hidden act of deep mercy. You are being shielded from things you are not yet strong enough to carry, and from paths that would ultimately break your beautiful spirit. Let this truth soften the rigid posture of your mind as you lie down in the dark. You can completely stop trying to look around every single corner of your future. It is a completely exhausting way to live, trying to anticipate every single negative comment, every potential economic shift, and every possible betrayal. Your human eyes are simply not designed to see through the thick fabric of tomorrow. But the eyes of your guardian never blink, never turn away, and never grow dim with age. This faithful watchman sees the trap before your heart even feels the tremor of fear. Ingi stands as an unbreakable wall of fire around your home, your thoughts, and your family. The negative intentions of the world cannot penetrate this divine boundary. Every plot of negativity that was formed against your peace today has already been canceled and turned into complete harmlessness by a power that has never once lost a single battle. When you fully accept this constant protection, your relationship with the dark changes completely. The silence of your room ceases to be an empty void where anxiety can breed its monstrous thoughts. Instead, the stillness becomes a holy fortress where your energy is being restored. You can finally stop acting as the general of your own private army. You can dismantle the heavy armor of defensiveness that you have been wearing for so many months. You do not need to fight everyone who misunderstands you, and you do not need to defend your worth to a world that does not know how to value your essence. Your guardian is your ultimate defender, and Ingi is fully capable of vindicating your name while you simply sleep. Your only responsibility tonight is to occupy the position of a resting child who knows that the adults are fully awake and managing the house. Let go of the toxic habit of rehearsing old conversations in the dark, trying to figure out what you should have said or how you could have changed the outcome. The past is a territory that has already been sealed by time, and no amount of midnight worry can alter a single second of its history. Leave those moments in the hands of mercy. Your mistakes, your awkward pauses, and your absolute failures are all safely contained within the wide boundaries of a grace that is bigger than your regrets. If the universe does not condemn your fragile nature, you have absolutely no right to condemn yourself tonight. Breathe in the cooling freshness of this liberation and let the heavy tension dissolve from your forehead, your jaw, and your chest. As you drift closer to the gentle edge of sleep, listen to the silent symphony of peace that is filling your room. The same sovereign hand that commands the grand movements of the constellations is resting gently over your heart like a warm mantle of pure love. You are completely surrounded by an army of peace that the chaos of this world can never defeat. You do not need to worry about the morning because the morning is already being organized by an ancient affection that knows exactly what you need. Sleep now with an unshakable confidence, knowing that you are deeply cherished, completely safe, and beautifully kept through the long night. The world is constantly trying to fragment your focus and break your inner world into 1,000 separate pieces. From the moment you wake up to the final seconds before you turn off the lights, you are bombarded with demands for your attention, your energy, and your emotional labor. You are told that your worth is directly tied to your speed, that your value is dependent on your performance, and that any moment spent in absolute stillness is a moment completely wasted. This toxic narrative creates a deep structural weariness that goes far beyond simple physical fatigue. It is an exhaustion of the soul, a state of being where you feel completely drained of your creative juice, your patience, and your capacity for genuine joy. When you carry this heavy fragmentation into the night, it prevents you from entering the restorative rest that your body and mind so desperately need. Tonight you must realize that you are not just a biological machine that needs to be plugged into a charger for a few hours. You are a complex, beautiful, and fragile soul that requires deep restoration to survive in a chaotic world. True rest is not a luxury that you must earn by working yourself into a state of total collapse. True rest is a fundamental necessity, a sacred right that was designed into the very fabric of your human existence. When you choose to enter the stillness of the night without your armor, you are performing a revolutionary act of self-preservation. You are declaring to the universe that you refuse to let the frantic pace of modern society dictate the internal rhythm of your heart. You are choosing to step off the competitive treadmill of life and enter a sanctuary of absolute calm. Think about the invisible lines of grace that are being drawn around your personal space at this very moment. There is a sacred boundary surrounding your home, your bedroom, and your immediate thoughts that no external negativity is permitted to cross. The voices of criticism, the pressures of your professional life, and the heavy anxieties about your financial security must all stop at the threshold of this room. They do not possess the authority to invade your sanctuary of sleep unless you consciously open the door and invite them to torment your mind. You are completely allowed to enforce this boundary tonight. You can tell your worries that their time is officially up for the day and that they must wait outside until the morning arrives. The watchman of your life is standing at the gate, ensuring that your peace remains completely undisturbed while you rest. Let the comforting awareness of this divine protection soften the rigid posture of your mind and body. When you look at your life through the lens of your own limited strength, it is completely natural to feel overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of your responsibilities. You think about the bills you have to pay, the complex relationships you have to navigate, and the unpredictable nature of your career path, and your chest naturally tightens with panic. But when you shift your perspective and realize that you are being backed by an infinite source of strength, the entire atmosphere of your mind changes. You do not have to be the sole provider, the ultimate fixer, and the perfect manager of every moving part of your existence. You are a participant in a grander design, a child of a loving creator who assumes full responsibility for your ultimate survival. This means that you can completely dismantle the heavy defenses that you have been forced to wear during the daytime hours. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone tonight, and you do not need to justify your existence by reviewing a list of your daily accomplishments. Even if you made mistakes today, even if you spoke out of turn, or failed to meet your own high expectations, you are still completely covered by an ocean of endless mercy. Your failures do not diminish your value in the eyes of the one who created you from the dust of the earth. Engi knows exactly how fragile you are, and Engi meets your weakness with an overwhelming gentleness rather than a harsh judgment. Let that beautiful forgiveness wash over your conscience, clearing away the heavy debris of guilt and self-reproach that has been weighing you down. As the physical world around you grows increasingly dark, let your inner world become increasingly bright with the light of pure hope. The darkness of the night is not an empty void that is waiting to swallow you whole. It is a protective canopy, a gentle womb of spiritual rebirth, where your tired spirit can be quietly put back together. While your physical eyes are closed and your conscious mind is completely inactive, a profound work of internal reconstruction is taking place in the secret chambers of your soul. Your cells are being repaired, Your nervous system is being calmed, and your emotional reserves are being replenished by a love that never sleeps. You are being prepared for a glorious tomorrow, a fresh beginning that will be filled with brand new opportunities and unexpected moments of grace. Trust the beautiful process of this nighttime transformation without trying to intellectualize or control it. You do not need to understand how the grass grows, how the planets stay in their orbits, or how your heart continues to beat smoothly while you are dead to the world. You simply need to have enough faith to let go of the steering wheel of your life for the next few hours. The universe is fully capable of running itself without your constant supervision and advice. Let your breathing slow down to match the quiet, natural rhythm of the night. With every slow inhalation, pull in the soothing, cool air of perfect peace. With every slow exhalation, release the hot, toxic air of resentment, anxiety, and daily frustration. You are entering a state of holy ground tonight, a position of absolute security where you can finally rest your weary head with total confidence. The guardian of your life has never once lost sight of you, never once turned away from your cries, and never once grown weary of your human limitations. While you drift away into the mysterious world of dreams, you are being held in an embrace that is stronger than the forces of gravity and more permanent than the foundations of the mountains. Sleep now in the absolute certainty that you are deeply cherished, completely protected, and beautifully kept through the long, quiet night. Your morning of joy is already being prepared, and it will meet you exactly when the sun breaks through the eastern sky. The deepest layers of human exhaustion are rarely found in the muscles or the physical body. The most profound weariness is always a weariness of the soul, a deep state of inner depletion that happens when you have been fighting silent battles that no one else can see. You can massage a tired muscle and you can rest a fatigued body, but a bruised spirit requires a much deeper form of celestial medicine. Tonight, as you lie in the absolute stillness of your room, you must allow the great mender of wounds to access the secret chambers of your heart. You are carrying the heavy weight of unspoken prayers, the sharp sting of secret disappointments, and the dull ache of a grief that you feel forced to hide from the public eye. You do not need to wear a mask of artificial strength in this quiet sanctuary. You can finally let the tears fall, for every single drop is being collected by a love that values your absolute vulnerability. Think about the quiet battles you have been fighting all by yourself for the past few months. You have faced the painful sting of betrayal from people you trusted completely. And you have experienced the crushing weight of delay that makes you wonder if your dreams will ever come to fruition. You have sat in the dark and questioned your own worth, wondering if you are truly enough to handle the immense pressures that life has placed upon your shoulders. It is so easy to let these experiences poison your internal world, turning your soft heart into a hard stone of bitterness and defensive cynicism. But tonight, you are being gently invited to release that heavy armor. Your guardian is watching over the core of who you are, protecting your pure essence from being destroyed by the harshness of a broken world. This presence is quietly breathing new life into your deflated hopes, ensuring that your capacity for love, joy, and deep empathy remains completely intact. Let this comforting truth dissolve the toxic knot of resentment that has been tightening in your chest. When people wound you, or when circumstances fail to meet your expectations, your natural human instinct is to fight back or to replay the scenarios endlessly in your head, trying to achieve a sense of cosmic justice through your own mental efforts. This mental loop is a total waste of your precious vital energy, and it only serves to keep the wound wide open. Tonight, you must choose to hand over the ledger of your grievances to a higher court of absolute justice. Let go of the desire to avenge yourself, to prove your point, or to force a sincere apology from someone who is simply not capable of giving it. Your guardian is your ultimate vindicator, and this power is fully capable of restoring everything that was stolen from your life while you simply choose to rest. Every single sigh that escapes your lips in the quiet hours of the night is not a sign of final defeat, but rather the raw material that is being used to build a brand new chapter of spiritual resilience. You are being reshaped in the dark, just as beautifully as a rare diamond is formed deep beneath the heavy layers of the earth. The pressure you are currently experiencing is not designed to crush your spirit, but to destroy the impurities of self-doubt and fear that have held you back for far too long. Trust the gentle craftsmanship of the master architect, who knows exactly how much heat your soul can endure before it reflects the brilliant light of true wisdom. You are not breaking down, you are actually being broken open, so that a grander version of your identity can finally emerge into the light of day. As your physical body sinks deeper into the soft comfort of your bed, imagine your soul entering a vast ocean of absolute peace. The noise of the world is fading away into total insignificance, and the opinions of others are losing their deceptive power over your self-esteem. You do not belong to the critics, you do not belong to your mistakes, and you do not belong to the heavy anxieties of your past. You belong to the everlasting keeper of souls, the one who has inscribed your precious name upon the palms of protective hands and promises to never let you go. This absolute ownership means that your ultimate destiny is completely secure, no matter how chaotic or uncertain your temporary circumstances might appear right now. You can afford to close your eyes and sleep with a completely light heart, because your future is not an accident of fate. Let your breathing become a slow, rhythmic declaration of absolute trust in this unseen care. With every slow breath in, welcome the gentle warmth of forgiveness and inner restoration into your spirit. With every slow breath out, release the lingering toxins of jealousy, comparison, and the constant need to justify your existence to people who do not truly see your worth. You are a masterpiece of divine design, a unique expression of life that is deeply cherished by the heavens. Allow the heavy tension to completely drain from your forehead, your temples, and your jaw as you accept this beautiful reality. The watchman of your life is fully awake, managing the entire cosmos and holding the details of your tomorrow with an iron grip of absolute love. You are entering into a space of holy rest tonight, a sacred interval where your inner world is being completely reordered by a power that speaks peace into the midst of absolute chaos. Do not let the deceptive whispers of fear convince you that you are helpless or alone in this dark season. Look back at the long road you have already traveled and recognize the invisible hand that has consistently protected you from dangers you did not even see coming. The same faithful guide who carried you through yesterday is fully prepared to lead you through tomorrow with an abundance of grace. Sleep now, beautiful soul, in the absolute certainty that you are being kept guarded and deeply loved through every single second of this quiet night. The continuous passage of time often forces your weary spirit to focus entirely on the physical steps you must take to survive from one morning to the next. You find yourself constantly planning your routes, calculating your schedules, and navigating the heavy logistics of a demanding world. It is so easy to fall into the deceptive trap of believing that your life is merely a series of random mechanical movements through a series of chaotic events. You begin to feel like a lost wanderer who is being pushed around by the unpredictable winds of economic shifts, societal demands, and personal challenges. But tonight, as the loud world finally closes its eyes and retreats into total silence, a deeper truth is being unveiled to your spirit. Your life is not a series of random accidents. Your life is an intentional journey that is safely held within the master map of a grand design. And your guardian is carefully watching over your unique rhythm. Think about the profound comfort of knowing that your going out and your coming in are being completely supervised by an infinite intelligence. This means that every single journey you take begins and ends in a space of absolute safety. There has never been a single mile you traveled where you were outside the wide reach of a protective grace. There has never been a single lonely road or a confusing detour where your presence was left completely unguarded. When you walked through the bright light of victory today, your guardian was right there celebrating your progress and strengthening your feet. When you stumbled through the dark fog of frustration, that very same presence was walking directly beside you to ensure that your footing remained completely steady. You are never an isolated traveler who has to figure out the path through sheer human guesswork. You are being led by a guide who knows the ultimate destination of your life from the very beginning. Let this beautiful perspective completely change the way you view the uncertainties of your tomorrow. When you lie awake in the dark, your mind naturally tries to sprint ahead into the future, trying to solve problems that have not even arrived yet. You worry about whether you will have enough energy for the meetings of next week, whether you will find the answers to your family issues, or whether you will survive the hidden challenges of the coming month. This mental time travel is completely exhausting, and it accomplishes absolutely nothing but the total destruction of your current peace. Tonight, you must realize that your tomorrow has already been beautifully organized by an ancient affection that has walked ahead of you. The guardian of your days has already stepped into your future, cleared the hidden traps from the road, and declared that your path is completely good. You are not moving into a dangerous territory of total vulnerability. You are simply moving into the next designated acre of your inheritance of grace. This means that you can completely release your frantic hold on the steering wheel of your life for the next few hours. You do not need to sit up in bed and manually manage the universe while your body is crying out for deep restorative sleep. The stars do not require your permission to shine. The earth does not need your assistance to rotate, and your future does not depend on your midnight panic to remain secure. Trust the beautiful flow of the unique rhythm that has been designed for your specific life. If you are currently in a quiet season of total hiddenness where nothing seems to be moving forward, do not interpret this delay as a sign of permanent stagnation. This quietness is a protective pause, a sacred interval where your roots are growing deep into the soil of character so that you can sustain the heavy weight of the visibility that is coming your way. Your journey is perfectly timed, and you are exactly where you need to be to receive the deep lessons of absolute trust. As you prepare to close your eyes, let this profound sense of security wrap around your entire consciousness like a thick protective shield. No weapon of negativity that was formed against your peace today has the authority to prosper within the walls of this room. The critical opinions of other people, the heavy expectations of your professional life, and the cloudy doubts of your own mind must all halt at the threshold of this sanctuary. You are living within a fortress of absolute favor, a space where you are fully permitted to be human, to be tired, and to be completely fragile. Let the stubborn tension melt away from your neck, your shoulders, and your jaw as you sink into the soft comfort of your bed. Your assignment for the rest of the night is beautifully simple. Your only responsibility is to let go, relax your physical form, and allow your soul to be completely restored by a love that never sleeps. Breathe in the cool, soothing air of perfect peace that is circulating through your room at this very moment. With every quiet inhalation, pull in the restorative energy of absolute confidence in your destiny. With every quiet exhalation, release the hot, toxic air of anxiety, resentment, and the constant need to control things that were never yours to manage in the first place. You are being held in an embrace that is stronger than the forces of gravity and more permanent than the foundations of the mountains. Sleep now with a completely light heart, knowing that the watchman of your life is fully awake, standing guard over your dreams, so that you can awaken tomorrow with brand new mercies and a fresh supply of strength. If this message of deep protection and perfect timing brought a sense of calm to your spirit tonight, please take a moment to interact with this video. Hit the like button to help spread this peaceful energy to others who might be struggling to find rest in the dark. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a midnight anchor for your soul, and turn on the notification bell to receive your daily dose of healing and motivation. Share this video with a friend or a loved one who needs to remember that they are never walking alone through the dark seasons of life. Let us continue to build this beautiful community of hope and inner restoration together. The human mind possesses a remarkable yet exhausting capacity to remember its wounds while completely forgetting its victories. When you sit in the silence of the deep night, your thoughts will naturally gravitate toward the moments where you felt the most broken, the most exposed, and the most defeated. You will vividly remember the sharp sting of a cold rejection, the heavy disappointment of a failed venture, and the overwhelming grief of a sudden loss. It is during these hours of emotional vulnerability that your spirit desperately needs an active shift in perspective. You must intentionally choose to cultivate a beautiful vocabulary of profound gratitude in the dark. Gratitude is not a shallow emotional reaction that you only display when everything in your life is going perfectly smoothly. True gratitude is a powerful, revolutionary choice to look back at the long history of your survival and realize exactly how beautifully you have been kept through every single storm. Think about the sheer magnitude of the hidden miracles that have unfolded quietly in your life while you were busy worrying about the future. There were so many instances in your past where you were standing face to face with hidden dangers that you did not even have the capacity to see. Your footsteps were directed away from paths that would have broken your spirit, and certain doors were intentionally locked in your face as a form of deep mercy, protecting you from entering spaces that were not designed for your ultimate good. You might have wept bitterly over those closed doors at the time, believing that you were being rejected or punished by a cold and indifferent universe. But tonight, with the benefit of hindsight, you can look back and praise the wisdom that said no to prayers that would have ultimately destroyed your destiny. You can celebrate the divine detours that kept you safe from the snares of destruction. Let this deep realization of constant preservation loosen the rigid grip of fear upon your mind. Your worthiness to experience a life of absolute peace is completely independent of your current performance, your social status, or your daily productivity. You do not have to earn the right to rest by working yourself into a state of total physical and emotional collapse. You are a cherished creation, an intentional masterpiece of life, and your right to tranquility is inherent within your very breath. Tonight, let the heavy burdens of self-criticism and guilt dissolve into the vast ocean of endless mercy that surrounds your bed. Even if you made mistakes today, even if your courage wavered and your words were imperfect, you are still completely covered by a love that does not judge your fragile nature. You are allowed to be human, you are allowed to be tired, and you are fully permitted to leave the unresolved questions of your life in the hands of a higher authority until the morning sun rises. Dantle the heavy armor of defensiveness that you have been forced to wear during the competitive hours of the day. You do not need to fight any mental battles tonight. You do not need to defend your reputation against the misunderstandings of others, and you do not need to figure out the complex logistics of your entire future before you can close your eyes. The watchman of your soul is fully awake, managing the intricate systems of the universe with total ease. The same sovereign power that maintains the delicate balance of nature, that guides the migration of the birds and draws the boundaries for the tides, is fully responsible for the maintenance of your life. When the winter of your current circumstances feels incredibly long and freezing, have the quiet confidence to know that the seeds of your spring are already growing beautifully beneath the surface of the dark soil. Allow your physical form to sink deeply into the soft comfort of your sanctuary of rest. Let the rhythm of your breathing become a gentle, soothing melody of total surrender. With every slow breath you pull into your tired lungs, welcome the fresh restoration of hope, strength, and an unbreakable calm. With every slow breath you release into the quiet room, let go of the toxic residue of comparison, resentment, and the exhausting need to control outcomes that were never yours to manage. You are living within a fortress of absolute favor, a sacred space where the negative intentions of the world cannot penetrate. You are safe, you are deeply valued, and your destiny is completely secure. As you drift closer to the gentle edge of a deep restorative sleep, let a quiet song of thanksgiving rise up within your heart. Praise the hidden guide who has carried you through the deepest valleys of your past and who is already standing in your tomorrow, arranging an abundance of grace for your arrival. You do not need to see what lies beyond the dawn because you know exactly who is waiting for you there. Close your eyes now with total confidence, let your mind become completely still, and allow your soul to rest beautifully under the shadow of an unchanging affection that will never let you go. The quietest hours of the deep night are not merely meant to be a private refuge for your own personal healing. When you have found a place of total safety and absolute calm in the dark, your spirit naturally begins to expand its capacity for empathy and care. As you lie, comfortable and secure within the peaceful boundaries of your room, you become beautifully aware of the invisible collective of humanity that is sharing this midnight hour with you. There are so many other souls across the world who are currently awake in the darkness. But unlike you, they have not yet found their anchor. They are sitting on the edge of their beds, staring into the shadows and fighting the heavy waves of panic, loneliness, and exhaustion completely alone. Tonight, you can choose to transform your private sanctuary into a grand temple of intercession, lifting up those who are weeping, praying, and struggling in the quiet places of the world. Think about the profound impact of sending out a wave of silent, focused love into the atmosphere of the deep night. You can mentally reach out to the nameless individual who feels completely forgotten by the entire universe right now. Perhaps it is a person who has just received a piece of devastating news, or someone who is sitting in a cold hospital room listening to the monotonous beep of medical monitors and wondering if they will ever experience the sweet embrace of health again. You can direct the warm energy of your own peace toward their cold isolation. Whisper a silent wish that a comforting presence will suddenly fill the corners of their room, lifting the heavy weight of despair off their chest and replacing it with a quiet, miraculous assurance that they are not alone. Your empathy possesses the unique power to travel across distances, creating an invisible blanket of grace for souls who are shivering in the winter of life. Let your heart break open with deep compassion for the parents who are currently awake, rocking a restless child, or staring at a stack of unpaid bills while their family sleeps. Think about the massive burden of responsibility they carry on their shoulders and how deeply they need a moment of total mental relief. Send a prayer of absolute stillness into their homes, asking that every single tormenting thought be silenced and every financial anxiety be completely canceled. Imagine a powerful wall of fire encircling their households, keeping away the hidden attacks of worry and the whispered lies of failure that try to steal their joy and sow deep confusion within their marriages. By choosing to care for their hidden battles, you are participating in a beautiful cosmic network of mutual support that elevates the entire human experience above the level of survival. Think also of the creative souls, the leaders, and the believers who are currently wrestling with the heavy fatigue of direction. They have spent all their vital energy serving others, poured out their hearts to mend the wounds of the world, and now they find themselves completely empty, dry, and uncertain of their own next steps. They are sitting in the dark, facing the terrifying silence of their own inner void, and wondering if their inspiration will ever return. Intercede for these weary guides tonight, asking that their inner wells be quietly replenished by an infinite stream of celestial restoration. May the darkness of their night become a holy matrix of spiritual rebirth, where their dull vision is sharpened, their broken confidence is repaired, and their passion is reignited with a brilliant, unshakable intensity. When you choose to look beyond your own immediate needs and lift up the global community in the dark, a marvelous shift happens within your own soul. Your personal problems, which felt so monstrously large and complicated just a few hours ago, suddenly find their proper and manageable perspective. You realize that you are a vital part of a grand, interconnected tapestry of life that is being carefully guided by a supreme wisdom. You no longer feel like a solitary victim of random, hostile circumstances. You become a conscious agent of light, a pillar of hope that stands firm in the midst of a shaking world. The peace that you are actively projecting toward others automatically loops back to saturate your own environment, creating a double portion of tranquility within your mind and body. Let this expansive sense of unity loosen the very final remnants of tension from your physical form. You do not have to carry the world on your shoulders, but you are fully permitted to love the world through your prayers. Rest your head deeply on your pillow, knowing that the watchman of your life is also the watchman of every single soul you have lifted up in the dark tonight. The same infinite love that is guarding your breath is currently bending low to touch the foreheads of the weeping, the sick, and the anxious across the planet. You can finally close your eyes and let go of all spiritual labor. Trust that the universe is being beautifully managed, that the broken pieces are being gathered, and that the morning will bring an abundance of brand new mercies for every single one of us. Sleep now in perfect harmony with the quiet rhythm of this vast protected night. The arrival of the quiet midnight hour is not an indicator that your life has come to a permanent halt. It is the designated moment where you must prepare your spirit to transition from a place of deep restorative rest into a state of quiet, unshakable boldness for the morning ahead. As you lie perfectly still in the protective dark, you are not merely escaping the heavy demands of the external world. You are actively participating in a process of spiritual incubation. The silence surrounding your bed is the exact environment where your inner strength is being reconstituted. Your mental clarity is being sharpened, and your emotional resilience is being fortified. When you open your eyes to face the new day tomorrow, you will not be entering the territory of the future as a helpless victim of random circumstances. You will step onto that fresh ground as a well-rested warrior who is completely backed by the highest authority in the universe. Think about the profound difference between a life that is lived in a constant state of frantic reaction and a life that is guided by a deep internal anchor. The world outside thrives on creating an atmosphere of perpetual urgency, trying to convince you that you must constantly run, shout, and strive to keep from being left behind. If you allow that external noise to dictate your inner pace, your steps will always feel shaky. Your decisions will be born out of deep panic, and your spirit will eventually slide into absolute burnout. But tonight, you are being trained in the art of divine stillness. You are learning that true power does not lie in the velocity of your movement or the loudness of your voice. True power is found in the quiet confidence of a soul that knows it is being beautifully kept, fiercely protected, and strategically guided by an unchanging affection. Let this absolute certainty of your constant preservation change the way you anticipate the challenges of the morning. When the sun breaks through the eastern horizon, you will naturally face an array of tasks, conversations, and situations that have the potential to disrupt your peace. You might have to enter environments that feel toxic, engage with people who are deeply difficult, or manage logistics that look completely overwhelming from your current perspective. But you can look toward those upcoming moments tonight without a single tremor of anxiety. You do not need to pre-manufacture your courage or rehearse your responses in the dark. The same magnificent guide who has watched over your sleep will rise with you in the morning, placing light before your footsteps and whispering absolute wisdom directly into your spirit exactly when you need it. You are moving into a territory that has already been completely drenched in divine favor and brand new mercies. The watchman of your life does not simply sit at the edge of your bed and wait for you to wake up before taking action. This infinite guardian has already walked ahead of you into your tomorrow, arranging strategic intersections of grace, setting stepping stones of opportunity before your feet, and clearing the hidden snares of destruction from your path. This means that your future is not a terrifying blank space of total vulnerability. Your future is a highly organized landscape of purposeful development. Every meeting you attend, every task you perform, and every boundary you cross tomorrow will be an intentional chapter in the beautiful masterpiece of your ongoing victory. Therefore, you can officially declare a state of total ceasefire within your mind tonight. You have absolutely no obligation to solve the complex mathematical equations of your entire destiny before you can allow your body to fall asleep. Let go of the heavy toxic habit of trying to predict how everything will turn out in the next 5 years. You only possess the human capacity to live through one single breath at a time. And that is exactly how you are meant to navigate your journey. Trust that the grand architect of your life is fully capable of managing the macro logistics of your future, while you simply focus on the micro assignment of your current rest. Relax the tight muscles in your back, release the stubborn tension from your jaw, and let your head sink deeply into the soft sanctuary of your pillow. Breathe in the cool, refreshing air of an unshakable peace that is filling every single corner of your room right now. With every slow, intentional inhalation, pull in the spiritual oxygen of absolute boldness, quiet confidence, and complete assurance. With every slow, intentional exhalation, release the hot, suffocating air of self-doubt, professional pressure, and the exhausting need to prove your worth to a world that does not know how to evaluate your true essence. You are a cherished child of the cosmos, an irreplaceable expression of life, and your ultimate success has already been completely secured by a covenant that cannot be broken by human failure. As you drift closer to the beautiful edge of a profound and restorative slumber, let your spirit settle into a posture of absolute triumph. You do not need to fear the morning, because the morning belongs to the one who loves you with an everlasting love. You do not need to worry about your performance, because your identity is rooted in an unconditional grace that does not change based on your daily productivity. Close your eyes now with total confidence. Allow your conscious thoughts to fade away into the beautiful dark and rest deeply in the arms of a guardian who will never leave your side, never fail your trust, and never lose a single battle for your soul. The long journey through the hours of the deep night has finally brought you to this sacred threshold of absolute stillness. You have spent the last few hours traveling through the dense valleys of your own complex thoughts, facing the cloudy mountains of your fears, and addressing the heavy longings that usually hide within the busy noise of the daytime. World, you have looked higher than your immediate problems, accepted the constant protection of your watchful guardian, and allowed your weary spirit to be gently reassembled inside the sanctuary of inner restoration. Now, as the deep darkness completely envelops your room and the world outside falls into a state of total silence, the absolute moment has come to place the final seal of peace upon your soul. This is the moment where you must make a conscious, definitive choice to prioritize your internal tranquility over external chaos. You are being warmly invited to choose perfect peace over frantic panic, unshakable trust over physical tension, and total surrender over the exhausting desire for control. To enter into this state of ultimate surrender, you must first choose to let go of the heavy, deceptive illusion that you are the sole manager of your own destiny. From the moment you wake up, modern society conditions you to believe that you must constantly strive, calculate, and manipulate every moving part of your existence to remain safe. You carry the massive burden of believing that if you stop working, if you stop worrying, or if you let down your guard for even a single second, everything you have built will suddenly fall into a state of total destruction. This hypervigilance is a heavy armor that completely crushes your spirit and drains your vital energy day after day. Tonight, you are being given full permission to take off that heavy armor piece by piece. You do not possess the human capacity to hold the entire universe together with your own fragile hands, and you were never designed to carry such a monstrous weight. Let this beautiful realization soften the rigid posture of your mind as you lie flat on your bed. Recognize that surrendering is not an act of cowardly defeat or an admission of total weakness. True surrender is a magnificent revolutionary declaration of your absolute faith in a higher strength. It is the intelligent choice to stop fighting against variables that you could never predict or control anyway. When you choose to surrender tonight, you are actively releasing your tight grip on the outcomes of tomorrow. You are handing over the bills you cannot pay right now, the complex relationships that you cannot repair through your own force, and the cloudy uncertainties of your professional path. You are laying all these heavy Gainihian before a sovereign power that has never once lost a single battle. The hands that are waiting to receive your burdens are the very same powerful hands that flung the giant stars into orbit, and they are fully capable of holding your life steady while you sleep. Think about the immense relief that floods your nervous system when you finally decide to step off the competitive battlefield of the day. For the past 16 hours, your mind has been running on the high octane of survival, constantly analyzing conversations, calculating risks, and trying to fix things that were never yours to manage. You have put on a brave face for your family, your coworkers, and your friends, completely hiding the fact that you feel like you are breaking into a million tiny pieces on the inside. But in this quiet room, there is absolutely no one left to impress, and there is no performance standard that you must maintain to be deemed worthy of care. You do not need to justify your existence by reviewing a long list of your daily accomplishments before you can allow yourself to fall asleep. Your worthiness to experience absolute rest is inherent within your very breath. You can officially declare a total ceasefire within your mind at this very moment. Let the heavy questions about your future remain completely unanswered until the morning sun rises. You do not need to create 1,000 different backup strategies for scenarios that might never even happen in reality. The universe is fully capable of running its complex system smoothly without your constant midnight supervision and advice. The stars will continue to shine, the earth will continue to rotate, and the seasons of your life will continue to unfold beautifully, all without a single ounce of your personal effort. Allow yourself to transition from the active role of a stressed manager to the passive role of a deeply cherished child. A child does not lie awake at night worrying about the mortgage, the groceries, or the safety of the house because the child knows that the parents are fully awake and managing the home. breathe in the cooling freshness of this ultimate liberation and let it dissolve the stubborn knots of stress that have accumulated in your physical form. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears, relax the tiny muscles around your eyes, and allow your jaw to go completely loose. With every slow, intentional breath you pull into your lungs, welcome the gentle warmth of absolute security and divine favor. With every slow, intentional breath you release into the dark room, let go of the toxic residue of comparison, resentment, and self-reproach. You are exactly where you need to be at this point in your journey, and you are being beautifully kept through the long night. Trust the slow, strategic process of your life. Close your heavy eyes with total confidence and allow your soul to sink into the beautiful rest that has been prepared especially for you. As the profound choice of ultimate surrender begins to take root within your mind, let the comforting awareness of your absolute security soften every remaining layer of rigidity within your physical form. The deep darkness that now completely fills your room is no longer an empty void that breeds cold anxiety or feeds your midnight fears. Instead, this stillness has been transformed into a gentle protective canopy, a sacred boundary of pure grace that has been wrapped around your weary form like a warm blanket on a freezing night. You are entering into the deepest layer of the quiet hours, a space where you are completely anchored in a covenant of constant, unchanging care. This divine protection does not fluctuate based on your human performance. It does not expire when the clock strikes midnight, and it is never diminished by your mistakes, your failures, or your daily productivity. You are safe, not because the external world has suddenly stopped being a chaotic place, but because the unshakable nearness of your keeper has completely altered the entire atmosphere of your room tonight. Think about the magnificent power that is currently governing the silence of your sanctuary. The very same powerful voice that commanded light to pierce through the heavy darkness in the grand beginning of creation is speaking a message of perfect order over your anxious heart at this very moment. This presence is not a distant, distracted deity that is too busy managing the grand movements of the galaxies to notice your fragile existence. It is a watchful, intimate, and deeply personal guardian who knows the exact number of hairs on your head and tracks every single breath you take. When you feel like you are falling apart on the inside, when your emotions rise and crash like wild waves against the shore of your mind, this presence remains the absolute solid ground beneath your feet. It is the unshakable foundation that prevents your steps from slipping into total destruction, holding the complex details of your life with an iron grip of absolute love. Let this beautiful realization of constant preservation loosen the final remnants of hypervigilance from your nervous system. You can completely stop acting as the security guard of your own private life tonight. You do not need to sit up in the dark, checking the locks on the doors of your heart, or scanning the horizon of your future for potential threats, betrayals, or disappointments. The watchman of your soul never blinks, never dozes off, never grows dim with age, and never experiences a single moment of weariness. While you are drifting away into the mysterious world of dreams, completely helpless and unaware of your surroundings, this faithful guardian remains fully awake, standing active guard at the very threshold of your soul. Every silent arrow of doubt, every toxic whisper of comparison, and every hidden attack of negativity that tries to steal your joy is being quietly intercepted and turned into total harmlessness before it can even touch your existence. This means that your rest tonight is taking place on holy ground, a sacred interval of time that has been completely sealed against the invasion of worldly pressure. The critical opinions of other people, the heavy expectations of your professional life, and the cloudy judgments you place upon yourself have absolutely no authority to prosper within the walls of this room. You are fully permitted to lay down the exhausting burden of self-defense. You do not need to prove your worth to a world that does not know how to value your essence, and you do not need to explain your hidden pain to anyone in the dark. Your keeper knows exactly what you are made of, remembers that you are fragile, and meets your current weakness with an overwhelming gentleness rather than a harsh lecture. Let that wave of complete forgiveness and unconditional affection wash over your conscience, clearing away the heavy debris of regret that has been weighting your spirit down for so many weeks. Look back through the long history of your own survival and realize how beautifully you have been kept through every single storm of your past. There were dark valleys you walked through where you genuinely did not think you would possess the strength to see the next morning. There were sudden detours, painful rejections, and confusing delays that made you feel completely abandoned by the heavens. Yet here you are tonight, alive, breathing, and safely sheltered in the dark. Every single time your foot slipped on a loose stone of confusion, mercy stretched out much faster than gravity to hold you up. Every closed door that broke your heart was actually an act of deep protection, keeping your fragile spirit from entering spaces that were not designed for your ultimate good. You are a living masterpiece of resilience, a beautiful testament to a care that has never once lost sight of you, never once turned away, and never once failed to provide the grace you needed to take the next step. As your physical body sinks deeper into the soft comfort of your bed, imagine your mind becoming as clear and peaceful as a still mountain lake under a starry sky. The noise of the daytime world has completely dissolved into total insignificance, and the demands of tomorrow are being held in a safe state of suspension. You are wrapped in an invisible fortress of absolute favor, a space of spiritual sanctuary where your energy is being quietly reconstituted while you rest. The darkness is no longer a source of isolation or terror, but rather a nurturing womb of inner rebirth, where your deflated hopes are being quietly breathed back to life. You do not belong to your worries. You do not belong to your bank account, and you do not belong to your anxieties. You belong to the everlasting Creator of heaven and earth, and your name is permanently inscribed upon the palms of protective hands that will never let you go. Breathe in the deep, soothing stillness that is circulating through your room like a holy wind. With every slow inhalation, pull in the sweet assurance that everything is being held together perfectly by a higher wisdom. With every slow exhalation, release the final remnants of your daily stress, your control, and your fear of the unknown. Allow your breathing to match the natural, quiet rhythm of the universe, which functions effortlessly without your constant supervision or advice. You are entering a state of total, unshakable calm, a position of absolute security where you can finally close your heavy eyes without a single care. Trust the heart of the one who guides you. Allow your spirit to be completely reordered by love, and rest deeply in the knowledge that your soul is anchored in an eternal protection that will keep you safe through the long, quiet night. The quiet midnight hour is not an indicator that your life has come to a permanent halt. It is the highly designated moment where you must prepare your spirit to transition from a place of deep restorative rest into a state of quiet, unshakable boldness for the morning ahead. As you lie perfectly still in the protective dark, you are not merely escaping the heavy demands of the external world. You are actively participating in a process of spiritual incubation. The silence surrounding your bed is the exact environment where your inner strength is being reconstituted. Your mental clarity is being sharpened, and your emotional resilience is being fortified. When you open your eyes to face the new day tomorrow, you will not be entering the territory of the future as a helpless victim of random circumstances. You will step onto that fresh ground as a well-rested warrior who is completely backed by the highest authority in the universe. Think about the profound difference between a life that has lived in a constant state of frantic reaction, and a life that is guided by a deep internal anchor. The world outside thrives on creating an atmosphere of perpetual urgency, trying to convince you that you must constantly run, shout, and strive to keep from being left behind. If you allow that external noise to dictate your inner pace, your steps will always feel shaky. Your decisions will be born out of deep panic, and your spirit will eventually slide into absolute burnout. But tonight, you are being trained in the art of divine stillness. You are learning that true power does not lie in the velocity of your movement or the loudness of your voice. True power is found in the quiet confidence of a soul that knows it is being beautifully kept, fiercely protected, and strategically guided by an unchanging affection. Therefore, you can look toward your upcoming morning without a single tremor of anxiety. You do not need to pre-manufacture your courage or rehearse your responses in the dark. The same magnificent guide who has watched over your sleep will rise with you in the morning, placing light before your footsteps and whispering absolute wisdom directly into your spirit exactly when you need it. You are moving into a territory that has already been completely drenched in divine favor and brand new mercies. The watchman of your life does not simply sit at the edge of your bed and wait for you to wake up before taking action. This infinite guardian has already walked ahead of you into your tomorrow, arranging strategic intersections of grace, setting stepping stones of opportunity before your feet, and clearing the hidden snares of destruction from your path. As this long journey of the night finally reaches its beautiful conclusion, let the absolute final layers of tension fade completely from your existence. You have surrendered your heavy burdens, you have accepted your constant protection, and you have anchored your soul in a love that never slumbers or sleeps. The dark has done its sacred work of healing, and the dawn is already preparing to bring your fresh beginning. Let your heart beat in perfect harmony with the stillness of this room, and let your mind become completely quiet. The Lord your keeper, your helper, and your glorious creator is watching over you now and forevermore. You are safe, you are cherished, and you are ready to rest. Sleep now in pure, holy peace, and awaken to a morning that is already wrapped in absolute grace. Amen.